Hi students, this is Mr. Yao. In the last lesson, we have learned about the first type of special right triangle. So in this lesson, we're going to continue to learn the second type. But it's the same thing. Per knowledge, let's solve for some missing side. So this time is the bottom is the base that's missing. So let's say it's missing b. We're going to have 1 squared plus b squared. That equals 2 squared. So subtracting everything over, b squared is going to be a 3, which means b is a square root of 3. Okay, next, square root of 2 squared plus b squared, that equals to 2 square root of 2. Don't forget it's the whole thing that's squared. So the right side, 2 square root of 2 being squared, 2 needs to be squared, and the square root of 2 needs to be squared. So that makes the right side an 8. The left side is a square root of 2 squared, which is just a 2. So b squared equals a 6, which makes b a square root of 6. Next, 2 square root of 6 being squared plus b squared, that equals to 4 square root of 6 being squared. 2 square root of 6 squared. This is going to give us a 6. The 2 squared is a 4. So the 24 plus b squared, that equals 2. 4 squared is a 16 times a 6, that is 96. So that makes b squared a 72. So b is 6 square root of 2. Okay, now let's have a look. What did you notice about these triangles? The first obvious thing, of course, is how the triangles are set up. This time we have a 30-degree angle, a 60-degree angle, and then the 90-degree angle. So of course, this special triangle is 30, 60, 90 instead of the 45, 45, 90. Okay, and next thing you might have noticed is this side, the shortest side, and the longest side has some relationship. And this side that was missing, that we just found, is also going to have some relationship with the other two sides. So let's get to it. This is the 30, 60, 90 triangle. The long leg, here's the relationship. Of course, the angle is already given in the name of the triangle. It's 30, 60, 90. And the long leg have a relationship. When we say the long leg and the short leg, whichever one is facing 60 degrees is the longer leg, and whichever one is facing the 30 degrees, that's your shorter leg. Because, it should make sense because bigger angle means it has bigger openings. So of course, you can fit a longer line in there. So long leg is going to be the short leg multiplied with square root of 3. So if the short leg is an x, the long leg is x times square root of 3. And then the hypotenuse is the short leg times 2. Now something else, let's go a bit more. This triangle, you might be like, wait, how come this is a special triangle? The previous one at least is an isosceles triangle. Well, it's because if we actually put another triangle right here, we are going to end up with a 60, 60, 60, which is an equilateral triangle. So if you think about it, since the left side of it, the left triangle is just the right triangle flipped over, that would make this side a total length of 2x. And since we're picking half of it, that's why it's only left with an x. And this side, it would also be a 2x. So the 30, 60, 90 triangle actually comes from the equilateral triangle. And that does have this special relationship since we're cutting it basically in half. That's why the base is only an x, is only half of the hypotenuse. So let's find these trig ratios. Sine 30 degrees. So this time we're going to need to treat our 30 degrees as the angle that makes the x are opposite. The x times square root of 3 are adjacent. And then the 2x is the hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse is x over 2x, which is 1/2. And then cosine will be x times square root of 3 over 2x, that is square root of 3 over 2. Tangent is going to be x over x times square root of 3. So that would be 1 over square root of 3. Multiply the top and the bottom by a square root of 3. Simplifies to be a square root of 3 over 3. Next, we are going to treat our 60 degrees as the angle. And that would make x times square root of 3 the opposite, x the adjacent, and 2x is still the hypotenuse. But also, since 30 and 60 make up a 90 degree, they make up the complementary angles, they should actually share some values. These two should be the same, and these two should be the same. Let's check. Sine 60 degrees is opposite over hypotenuse, so it's square root of x times square root of 3 over 2x, which is square root of 3 over 2. They are the same. There you go. And then cosine 60 is going to be x over 2x, which is also 1/2. As for tangent 60 is going to be x times square root of 3 over x. So it's actually just going to be a square root of 3, which is like the numbers flipped. So there you go. That's all the trig ratios related to 30, 60, 90 triangle. Now let's get to some examples. Example 1. 30 is facing the 5, which makes the 5 the shortest leg. So B would have to be the 5 times square root of 3, which is just 5 square root of 3. And the hypotenuse is going to be twice of that. So it's 5 times 2, which is a 10. Next, this time, same thing. 30 is facing the 12, and that means that is the shortest leg. So x is going to be 12 times 2, which is 24. Next, if this is 60 degrees, and that means the 5 square root of 3 is the shortest leg, since that will be facing the 30 degree. So B is 5 square root of 3, the short leg, times the square root of 3. Square root of 3, square root of 3, that's a 3 times 5, 15. And that W is going to be 5 square root of 3 times 2, which is 10 square root of 3. That's question 3. Moving on. Number 4. This time you're given the hypotenuse, so we can find the short leg first. I mean, here's the thing. The relationship between hypotenuse and the long leg, which is like square root of 3 over 2, that's not going to be easy to use. So that's why we always find the short leg first. Always find short leg first. There you go. Okay, so let's find y first. It's going to be half of the hypotenuse, so it's a 5, and that makes x a 5 square root of 3. See how easy it is? Instead, if you choose to find x first, that's going to get a bit more complicated since you'll have to deal with a fraction that involves radicals. Okay, next. 60 degree is facing the 5 square root of 3. That makes it a longer leg, so y is going to be the long leg divided by square root of 3, so they cancel, which is just a 5. And then x is 5 times 2, which is a 10. Next, you're given the long leg again, since 30 is facing y, so this has to be the longer leg. Y will be 12 divided by square root of 3. Simplify by multiplying the top and the bottom by square root of 3. We got 12 square root of 3 over 3, so 4 square root of 3. And then x will be twice of that, so it's 4 square root of 3 times 2, which is 8 square root of 3. That's number 6. Moving on, number 7. This time you're given a hypotenuse. Let's find the short leg first. Since y is facing the 30 degree, that's the short leg. So y is 6 square root of 3 over 2, which is 3 square root of 3. Then x is going to be that times the square root of 3. These two make up a 3. So 3 times 3 is a 9. Next, 30 is facing the square root of 6. So we that's the short leg. X will be twice of that, and y will be square root of 6 times square root of 3, which is square root of 18, and can be simplified as 3 square root of 2. Next, number 9. 30 is facing the B, so we need to take that. 16, well, this looks a bit complicated. 16 square root of 3 over 3, the whole thing over 2. So, since you're dividing by a 3 and also dividing by a 2, in other words, you're actually dividing by a 6. Then we can just simplify the 16 over 6. It's 8 square root of 3 over 3. And then A would be 8 square root of 3 over 3 times square root of 3 or square root of 3 over 1. That will make the top another 3 there. So it's a 24 over 3 simplifies to be an 8. And that is the last example. That's everything for this 30, 60, 90 triangle lesson. Thank you.